These are a little tacky still. I mean, I can pull on this. They're not going anywhere.
I don't know what's on your mind, but I know that it's something about you and me.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the van build. My name is Linnea and usually I have my dog Akela here with me, and this is Togo, our 2016 Ram ProMaster. I purchased him in May and since then have been doing the entire van conversion by myself. If you've been following along, you've seen a lot of success and a lot of failures, some mistakes, and overall I'm having a lot of fun. At the end of this month, I will be traveling back to Wisconsin where I grew up. So during these next few weeks, I don't want to start a super big project while trying to move out of a house. One of the projects that is manageable that I want to get done before the end of the month is to put the walls on my doors. I have shiplap here. Well, it's really tongue and groove. For right now, let's just start with getting these walls up because usually I run into some bumps and everything takes longer than I think it will.
I've been feeling so small. Watch the clock ticking off the wall. But tonight
so basically, I'm just gonna cover the whole thing. I think it should be simple, but there's a really good chance that it won't be because it seems like everything that seems simple is never simple. Now I am going to cut pieces that are 50 inches long. That will give me about a ½ inch on both sides, which I think will look really nice. And then there's no way that it's going to get in the way of anything else. Here we go. So I've got the two panels that will be used for my sliding door. They are glued together and good to go. So right now, I'm going to head to my back doors and measure what length panels I want to cut for these back doors. For this bottom part, I'll create a panel similar to what I'm doing over there that can come off using Rivnuts. I just made a few cuts, so I'm gonna bring that first panel in and see how it fits. After many small cuts and bringing it back in here to see if it fits, I think we've got it. I just realized something. So I just realized that because of my lock, when my sliding door opens all the way, when it gets like 3/4 of the way open, I'm pretty sure that the lock is going to hit this panel. It'll hit any panel that I put on the wall. And just to keep it real, I'm kind of regretting using this tongue and groove at the moment. It's just a little thick and I don't know. Alright, I'm gonna do some troubleshooting, so I'm not gonna make you suffer through all that. Okay, scratching everything. I am deciding to go with something different, and a part of me feels pretty guilty that I might be wasting a few of those boards. I do want something lighter. I want something more simple, kind of starting over. All right, it has been about a day and a half. After feeling really frustrated about a lot of this stuff, I actually took a few hours away from filming. Usually I make sure that I catch everything on camera so you guys can have a really good idea of what this is like. But I just needed some time to not worry about filming, moving the camera, getting any B-roll, and I just worked. I have learned that if you want to do a van build, you don't have an extra like 3 months, don't film it. Because I got so much done without filming. But I want to show you where I'm at right now and what I kind of have staged and ready for installation. First of all, as you can notice, I started the framing of my van, which is something I'm really excited about. The reason that I started this framing is because 3 of the panels for my doors are drying right now. So I'm gonna show you what these look like. I've decided to go with 1/4 inch plywood for the bottom parts of all of my doors. So the bottom panels on my 2 back doors and the bottom panel for my sliding door. The reason being, it's going to be a lot easier to remove a single panel if the locks or door handles need to be worked on instead of individual panels. And then I've got these 2 for my back panels. These are little slits where that back table can fit into. These are a little tacky still. I'm gonna let that dry. I also spent some time installing the Rivnuts that I'm going to use for these. And that little slit will sit right here for my table to fit into. Same with on this guy. While I waited for those to dry, I decided on what I wanted to do for the framing of my van. Because ideally I can get my walls in by the end of this week. For the framing of my van, I wanted to do all the troubleshooting before I came on here and showed you what I was doing. Originally, I thought I wanted to use 1x2 like furring strips, and instead I decided to get a 3/4 inch piece of plywood, and I just cut it in strips with my jigsaw. It seems as though the 3/4 inch plywood has been a really good decision so far. It's super flexible and it feels really strong. So let's go over what I've done so far. On the bottom here, these plywood strips, they're kind of hooked into this bottom part of my floor, so super stable there. In each one, I have 2 M8 Rivnuts with M8 bolts, so they're pretty hefty. I mean, I can pull on this. They're not going anywhere. I do know that I'm gonna have like a wall right here as like a corner of my kitchen behind this driver's seat. The reason I'm using Rivnuts is because they are much stronger and much more reliable. To have something bolted into your wall, especially when it's metal instead of self-tapping screws, is just going to be a lot stronger and, like I said, a lot more reliable. So I might end tonight with staining and protecting my shiplap. I haven't even attached anything to my doors yet. I've like completely switched projects. Hello, welcome back. I don't remember actually where I left off because I took a day off, but this is what I've done so far today. I have put these panels up and I finished this panel as well. I love it. I think it looks great. The only thing that I'm kicking myself for right now is choosing to do the rust prevention in freaking gray. Why did I do that? But I bought some white paint, so I'll be able to do that later. If you notice back there, I don't know if you can see that very well, that thing flopping around. My insulation is finally coming off of my back doors. It's been on there for like 2.5 months, so happy with how long it's held up with that adhesive. Basically what I'm going to do today is finish, well, I'm not gonna say that. I'm going to start paneling these back doors because that's what needs my attention right now.
I didn't know I was telling a lie. It's been a long day for sure. How could I resist your smile? Can we move on as before? I could wait for.
This is how I have been attaching them to my door. I measure out my piece of shiplap. I would pre-drill some holes on the ends, and then I did add Sikaflex just a little bit wherever it would be touching my metal, and I have been using 1 1/8 inch self-tapping screws. Do I have Sikaflex on me? I love this, and it's so cozy. All right, so I'm gonna work on this next one and just see how far I can get. Really quick PSA, the 2 doors are not the same. So if you are cutting boards for one door and you decide, might as well cut this for the second door, don't do that because they're different sizes, which makes sense after the fact.
Sweetheart.
Today was an awesome day. It felt really productive, and it's even better knowing that I have a plan and I know exactly what I want to get done tomorrow. All right, today I'm doing this wall, and then maybe I will start putting up some of my shiplap. Hey, look at how good this looks. I finished those. I love them. Now for this wall, I will be using 1/4 inch birch plywood, and I know that I'm going to put a backsplash where my kitchen is, and that will give it enough room so that I can build on that 1/4 inch wall with my backsplash, and it'll be very close to the same thickness as the rest of my walls. Oh yeah, and I need to drill a hole for the wire so I can hook up my fridge. Maybe I'll do that today.
I don't remember much from the night before, just from the human touch, and now I want more.
Good morning. Okay, I'm doing it. First real wall, kind of.
And now my memory slowly coming back.
Let me briefly explain. This is going to be my kitchen wall, essentially, and there's going to be another one right here behind my driver's seat. About here, this far up will be my countertop. Underneath it will be drawers and my little fridge. From the top of my countertop to the bottom of my cabinets, that's all going to be backsplash. Since I feel like I'm kind of on a roll this morning, I am going to go ahead and start paneling this. I want everything to look like the dark cabiny shiplap that I put on the back doors, except for obviously what will be my backsplash and the walls of my windows, just to lighten up what I like to call the bedroom, and just staining them a very light natural color. I might even just only do a polyurethane finish, and my hope is to get those up today. But we know how that goes.
Downtown. Well, I don't know about that, but can you help me first to get these boxes down? Well, I don't know about that.
On the wood part here, on that stud, I will be using a nail gun. And over here, where the wood will overlap that metal piece, I am going to be using Sikaflex and the same black self-tapping screws. So that'll create like a nice little border with those black screws, as long as I make sure I measure and they're not like, ugh.
Ain't gonna do a thing for the rest of the day. You can try.
All right, here is where I'm at. I have it pretty much done. I'm gonna figure out that top part when I do something else. This bottom part is so funky. This really sticks out. So there is really no way that I could continue this.
Or should I turn on the TV or the radio? Well, I don't know about that. There's a whole list full of all the things we can do, but I want to do none.
I'm leaving that little spot open, so this is where I'm at. I'm okay with it open right now. Who knows? Maybe I'll never even put something over it. I don't know what I'm gonna do. But I've decided to move on. I'll think on that. I don't need that covered up right now. And instead, I want to focus on the other bigger parts of my walls.
You can try to seduce me, make me wanna play. I don't know about that.
Because this wall ends here and I'm gonna have the lighter wall in my bedroom, I wanted to get something to kind of separate it a little bit more instead of just like two rough cut pieces butt up against each other. So I'm gonna use these little pieces of trim. This one I'm gonna need to cut, but I really like that. I almost made a horrible mistake. Luckily I only have one board up, but I need to run my wires for the puck lights that will be underneath my cabinets before I put up all of my walls. Holy shit, that could have been bad. Wow. I'll let you know when I'm done.
I've said it many times, I know I would change my ways, I know for sure. When all the
So now that this side is totally done, except for this, of course, which I'll figure out later, now we are moving on to that wall. That's the goal for today.
But I learned my lesson hanging on.
All right, here's what I need to do now. So you know how on this side, wait, where is it? There. I wanted this little transition here from my normal space to my bedroom. I need to create that, but on the opposite side, before I put up my white wall.
As the night starts falling, let my
So this is gonna take a while because this metal is so thick. So what I'm doing is actually pre-drilling each hole because the self-tapping screw is having a pretty hard time getting through there.
now always in your hand.
And then I still have to finish this one panel here. But this will be really cool because I'm gonna go ahead and put my trim on here, and these walls will still be set back over there, which will look so good. I'm pretty excited about that actually. Time for the walls.
Seemed to be the only thing that was for me. And I saw the angel.
All right, I cleaned a lot of stuff out of my van, so here is the final product, kind of. I absolutely love it. Of course it'll look, you know, you won't be able to see that, so it'll look more like that. And here's this side. This I will have trim, of course. I still need to finish this paneling down here and figure out how I want to, you know, make this fit with the lock outside. But so far, this is where we're at, right before I'm leaving to travel. Well, Akela and I made it back to Wisconsin safely, and it has been so cozy sleeping in the van now that the walls are up. Hopefully this video gave you a few ideas about what you want to do and how you want to install your walls. And next week's video is all about how I made the custom cabinets for my van. Here's a little sneak peek right here. So stay tuned for that. That was super fun. Things are really starting to come together. If you are not already subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for the love and support, and I will see you next week.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun.